Remember the Xiaomi Mi Max with the huge screen and crazy battery life? Well, the successor to that is here, the Xiaomi Mi Max 2. It has some upgraded features like the even larger battery, increased to 5300 from 4850. The Snapdragon 625, however, seems like it's a downgrade from the Snapdragon 650. We'll see how it fares in real-life usage. Xiaomi is slowly ditching the flat sides and chamfered edges design, opting for rounded sides instead, similar to the Xiaomi 5C and the Mi 6. The body is made out of aluminium, and with such a huge size, it's very difficult to use it one-handed since the bag is quite slippery. At 211 grams, it's quite hefty but does help in handling a little. The antenna bands does resemble a lot like the iPhone 7. It does keep the lines out of sight, keeping the back very clean looking. The whole body feels sturdy and doesn't flex despite its size. The display comes with a 2.5D glass edge. It's curved towards the chassis but is mounted on another plastic that separates the chassis and the glass. There are tiny gaps on some sides if you look at it closely. It's great to see that the bezels are thin, but the black border is pretty obvious if the content on the screen is bright. Like the previous Mi Max, I felt the placement of the fingerprint sensor is too high due to the large footprint. Likewise, for the power and volume rocker, I needed to shift the phone to access them. Both buttons are tactile and very clicky. One very welcomed addition is the dual stereo speakers. It's at the earpiece and the bottom of the phone. It sounds really punchy and loud. Definitely a lot better than single speakers. The flagship, so this won't be the last you will see. The Snapdragon 835, dual camera setup and 6GB of RAM was enough to create an itch for me to try it out. In the box, you will find the Mi 6, USB Type-C cable, a Type-C headphone jack adapter, quick charge charger, SIM ejection tool. There is a headphone jack at the top, and you can change the sounds to your liking with the equalizer and sound enhancer. The LED lights are located on the right of the camera, also with no color customization options. It wasn't on the Mi 6, so I doubt this will have it either. The camera module is also flushed with the back. The Mi Max 2 is definitely for two-handed usage, and will be difficult to use for those with smaller hands. If you like big screens but want to use it one-handed mode will help a lot. If you're wondering that 1080p resolution on a 6.44-inch device will have pixelated screen, it does not. 342 ppi doesn't seem high, but the display looks pretty sharp in my opinion. The Mi Max 2 is a mid-range device, so I don't think we will see 2K resolution anytime soon. Viewing angles are pretty good with little loss of detail, but it loses some brightness. The capacitive buttons are backlit, with settings like long press behavior and disable buttons for certain apps. The display is bright at the maximum with no problems using it in the sun. Personally, I feel that the colours on Xiaomi phones are vibrant and saturated, and the Mi Max 2 is no exception. The colours and contrast settings for adjusting the display seems like the norm too. The fingerprint sensor unlock speed is very quick and almost instantaneous. It's always active and will work when the screen is off. There are two variants of the Mi Max 2, 64 and 128GB storage and 4GB of RAM. It has 54.35GB free from the box for my 64GB version. This phone also supports USB OTG with my Type-C thumb drive. There is support for dual SIM 4G plus 3G. Only one SIM can be LTE at any one time. You can also change the default dial and internet. Voice over LTE is also missing for this phone. There is support for microSD card, but is integrated with SIM card slot too. So you have to choose either dual SIM or single SIM with microSD card. The footprint of this phone is huge. It's like a waste of space not fitting the microSD card somewhere else. Other specs are Wi-Fi 802.11a, b, g, and AC, Bluetooth 4.2, Type-C port, 5300 mAh battery, GPS, compass, and radio. The Mi Max 2 is powered by the Snapdragon 625 and Adreno 506. Antutu scored 63105 compared to 70 to 80k score on the original Mi Max. Geekbench scored 863 on single core and 4155 on multi-core. It might seem like a step down from the original Mi Max for some. From what I have read, the 625 is more power efficient, thus better battery life, and 650 is more for performance. For gaming, the Mi Max 2 handled most games in the App Store pretty well. But for Dawn of Titans, it lags quite a bit when loading screens. It could be how the game is coded, but it's not so apparent on the Mi 6. Other than that, games like Dead Effect 2 on maximum settings has pretty good frame rate and no lag at all. Day-to-day usage will not be a problem at all with the 4GB of RAM. It will be more than sufficient for your multitasking needs. Rarely I had to close apps except for housekeeping. The UI had some occasional lags when launching apps or typing quickly at the settings page. It could be the OS optimization or ROM that my set is running on. Reception bars hovered close to max most of the time, but it depends on your location and network strength. There were no drop calls and both sides sounded clear. Cellular speeds is good for web surfing and social media on the go. I also tested Wi-Fi speeds on both 2.4 and 5 GHz near the router to get close to accurate speeds. The Mi Max 2 is running Android 7.1.1 with MIUI 8 on top. The current ROM that is preloaded seems like it's a modified China ROM made to global ROM. After checking online, some mention it's the leaked image of the official global ROM. I'm currently using it and works fine for me. As of now, there is no official global ROM. The Themes app in this ROM looks different from the Chinese ROM, but this is the place to change the phone's look and feel. The Security app is a one-stop place for maintenance of the phone. There is tools like Cleaner to remove unwanted junk, check and assign app permissions, virus scanning, and blocking calls or SMS. There is an option to include shortcuts to those functions on the home screen and notification shade. Scanner app is also different from the China ROM. It's missing shopping, translate, and study mode. The Mi Remote app is for controlling home devices with the IR blaster at the top. The drop-down shade layout can be toggled separately or together, App notifications can also be changed as you like. The quick settings position can also be changed as well. For privacy purposes, App Lock uses a password to lock your app, so it requires a password to open. There isn't any child mode in this ROM. Dual App duplicates compatible apps when it runs independently from each other. Second Space allows to have two workspaces in one phone. Documents, photos, and apps can be shared between each other, and it's like having two different devices in one phone. Other common but useful functions are Do Not Disturb, Reading Mode, Double Tap to Wake, and Quick Ball. If you are expecting great battery life, you won't be disappointed. The 5300 mAh battery is more than enough to last a full day. It can last probably 2 days with more moderate use. Screen on time varied between 6 to 8 hours. This changes depending on the apps you are using. My usage is around 10 to 12 hours a day, 75% brightness, connected to 4G outside and Wi-Fi at home. Each day, I would have around 25 to 45% battery left depending on how I use it. My usage is usually calls, lots of messaging and web surfing, social media apps, YouTube, and some gaming. The supplied charger supports quick charge and the Mi Max 2 supports it. It makes sense as the battery is huge and will be too slow for a normal rated charger. It took around 2 to 3 hours to charge from 0% to 100%. For those who want to maximize battery life, there is the battery saver mode with the option to create schedule. Here you can check the temperature, set battery drain and heating notifications and such. The Mi Max 2 comes with 12MP back camera and 5MP front camera. For camera filters, tap on the triple circle icon to access them. The stock camera has standard modes like Panorama, Tilt Shift, HHT for night shots and Beautify. To launch the camera quickly, tap the volume down twice. Focusing speeds for both manual and auto are both equally fast. Macro shots need to be at least 20cm to be able to focus. If not, it will be difficult to keep the object clear. Optical zoom is up to 8 times but gets grainy at this level. HDR can be easily toggled with the HDR logo, and this makes the colors in the photo brighter. HDR Night photos will be quite blurred with a slight movement, as it takes longer to process. Night shots with enhanced low light photos automatically will turn on HHT. I see a very slight difference when it's off, so I left it on to do its job. Photos turn out grainy but still acceptable with lighting. In manual mode, you can change options like white balance, focus, exposure time, and ISO. In video mode, time-lapse and slow motion are available. Video can be recorded up to 4K resolution, but there is no OIS on the Mi Max 2. Front-facing camera is good for selfies, with the Beautify tool set to on. The notable features of the Xiaomi Mi Max 2 are the dual stereo speakers, Type-C port, and the larger battery. As for performance, I didn't notice much difference when I was using the original Mi Max. The Snapdragon 625 is said to be more power efficient, but the battery in itself is already great given the large battery capacity. If you currently don't own a huge phone and don't mind its size, This phone is great for multimedia entertainment. If you do have the original Mi Max already, I think you can just skip this as the previous version is still a very capable device. Personally, I really like the dual stereo speakers, so I will use the Mi Max 2 instead. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you do have any questions, please leave a comment below. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to see more of such videos. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next one.